Part 5. Canon Fodder Strategy. Author, Juan ERWR. Chapter 42. While everyone was talking, Father Lin and Mother Lin, who had been helped to the chair, quickly regained their breath. When Father Lin coughed and interrupted, what Lily was going to say to Lin Kyoxun was quickly diverted. The doctor was now. I also came over, and after looking at it, I determined that although Father Lin and Mother Lin still had residual poison in their bodies, at least one life was saved. Seeing that it was getting late now, Lily knew very well the virtues of Lin Kyoxun and her master and servant, so while letting people keep a close eye on them, she was preparing to go back to her house to rest for a while. She had just entered this body before, and she already had a splitting headache when she accepted the plot. Then so many things happened. If it weren't for the fact that 2 lives were hanging on her body, she would have been unable to bear it. Now things are about to happen. To solve the problem, she naturally returned home to freshen up and then took a good sleep. When she woke up, she felt that she was much better. As expected, she had just woken up when she received a report from a servant saying that Lin Kyoxun and his servant wanted to leave, and after being rejected, they tried to escape. Fortunately, the people she sent caught the pair of master and servant, otherwise Lin Kyoxun, I don't know where I went now. Lily thought for a while, and the key point of this mission was not only to keep herself alive, but also the original owner's unwillingness to be harmed by Lin Kyoxun for her whole life. The first thing she had to do was to solve Lin Kyoxun's crisis. Father Lin and Mother Lin are not dead now, but have survived. Lily may not be found guilty of beheading in the future. She was just thinking about how to solve Lin Kyoxun's matter when Song Junyo stood coldly outside. He opened his face and came in angrily, pointed at Lily and said, "Bai Shi, why did you lock up Chiao Sun?" As soon as he came back, he didn't bother to take a breath and turned around for Lin Chiao Sun. Lily frowned. She knew in her memory that if the Song family was going to succeed at this moment, she also has to rely on her natal family. The marriage between her and Song Junyo is completely a family marriage. It is just a cooperation between the 2 families to get what they need. The 2 have some feelings, but the relationship is not very deep. Lily's love for Song Junyo, the relationship is nothing more than that the other person is handsome and beautiful, and although they are not particularly considerate to her, they can still respect each other as guests. In Lily's opinion, this is what a real couple should be like. But at this moment Lily didn't like Song Junyo, and Lily didn't care who he liked, so when she saw him shouting loudly, she didn't feel hurt, but instead frowned in disgust. "Shut up," Lily yelled at him first. Song Junyo probably never thought that someone would dare to yell at him like this. He was stunned. When he came to his senses and was about to speak, Lily had already said coldly, "Lin Chiaosun is a girl I have known since childhood. Since you like her, it is okay to accept her. However, my incompetent brother has been obsessed with her since he was a child. Now that he sees her beauty, I don't know about the relationship between you and Lin Kyohun. When we were in a relationship, I was afraid that he would do something impulsively. Although Lin Kiao looks gentle, she is stubborn. She now knows that you and I are husband and wife, and wants to leave. If you really want her to go, let her go. It's okay to leave, but now that she is pregnant with your flesh and blood, is it possible that the heirs of the Song family will still be living outside?" After Lily said these words, she stood up and walked towards Song Junyo. "Have you ever thought about what Dad would think if you really do this? Before Dad speaks, no one can leave unless Lin Kiao will do it. The child will be raised in the Song family after birth." When Song Junyo couldn't come to his senses, Lily gave him a bored look and went to eat by herself. Song Junyo never thought that his brother-in-law would have an affair with Lin Kyoxun. At first, he was attracted by Lin Kyoxun's gentle and beautiful appearance. He used some tricks when he got her before. Now he heard that she had been with his wife since she was a child. They knew each other. Song Junyo couldn't help but feel a little feverish on his face. After thinking about it, what Lily said was indeed right, so he lowered his posture first and hurriedly went to find her to apologize. It's all my husband's fault, but now seeing Niang, she is already pregnant with my flesh and blood. Madam, since I have known her since childhood, please be a little merciful to her. If you have any questions, you have to wait until she gives birth to the child. Lily naturally has no objection to this. She could almost imagine that the key to this mission was Lin Kyoxun and the monk Jishi. Song Junyu was a mean man. When he didn't get Lin Kyoxun, he would naturally do everything he could to be obedient to her. Once he got Lin Kyoxun's heart, in the plot, when Lin Qiaosun came to Beijing to look for him, he soon got tired of it. Because of this, when he knew that Lily had attacked Lin Qiaosun, he chose to stand by and let Lin Qiaosun cry and beg him. The first thing he wanted to do was to, after settling Lily's heart at home, it can be seen from this point that he does not love Lin Qiaoi, but possesses and plays with her. Later, Lin Qiaoi no longer liked him, and when she was with Baiyun, he tried every means to stalk him. Lily had only one word to describe this man, and that was, cheap. I'm going to take her into my house as a concubine, but I see that Lin Kyoxun seems a little reluctant. She told Dahong that she won't be a concubine. You have to resolve this matter. Lily is going to take Lin Kyoxun first. She was brought into the house in the name of a concubine and wrote the deed of betrayal with her. From then on, even if she had no intention of torturing Lin Kyoxun was still under her control from then on and could not easily turn over. As long as she doesn't have the extreme desire to kill Lin Qiaoi like in the original plot, even if Monk Jishi has great power, he shouldn't be able to do anything to her. After all, although the folk customs are still open at this time, it is always scandalous for a woman to become pregnant before marriage. A woman who reported her loss of chastity to the government would not get a good end. People at this time saw her doing so as a matter of course, and she could also gain a reputation as a magnanimous person. Lily in the plot is just too stupid, takes these emotional matters too seriously, takes Song Junyu too seriously, and develops feelings for Lin Kyoxun too quickly. Because she is overly enthusiastic, she only waits until Lin Kyoxun has a relationship with her husband. It felt like being betrayed. In fact, Song Junyu in the Song family had many concubines due to their different status. Although the original owner was sometimes jealous, she did not actually kill anyone. It seems that she had feelings for Lin Qiaoi before. She loved and cared for her so much, but when she later found out that she had betrayed her, she hated her even more. After Lily had lunch, Song Junyu came back with an embarrassed face. There were still a few traces of blood on his face, and he looked very embarrassed and angry. When he saw Lily, his eyes dodged and he said, "Lily, Qiaosun, she doesn't want to be a concubine." Book lovers are welcome to come and read, the latest, fastest and most popular serial works are all original. Canon Fodder Strategy. Author, Wan Erwr. Chapter 43. Don't want to be a concubine? If you don't want to be a concubine, do you want me to give up this position to her? Lily curled her lips sarcastically and said in a cold voice, she is such a shameless woman who has no match for others. To be honest, I feel like I have defiled the Song family by raising her as a concubine. If she doesn't want to be a concubine, let her give birth to the child in another courtyard first. Then let her come and go freely, and her affairs with you will be settled. Let you solve it yourself. But the child needs to stay in the Song family. What does Lang Jun think of my idea? At this moment, Lily didn't want to call Song Junyu her husband, so she compromised and called Song Junyu what people usually call her. She didn't know whether it was because Song Junyu didn't take her as a wife seriously at all, or because he was doing it for Lin Kyoxun. He was so distracted by the matter that he didn't notice the change of her title. He shook his head randomly and went out with an unhappy look on his face. Although it was good to play with the beauty, Song Junyu felt a little unhappy once he had to clean up the aftermath. He did not expect that Lin Qiaxun would really come to Beijing in such a big world. Although he was a little surprised when he saw Lin Qiaxun at first, he saw her again. She was still beautiful and was somewhat interested in being pregnant with her own child, but as time went by, Song Junya was not allowed to touch her once she was pregnant, and she often cried and complained about troubles, and Song Junya became impatient. 2 days later, although he had people keeping a close eye on Lin Qiaosun, it was not clear whether it was because of Lin Qiaosun's abilities or because of the girl Tao Hong beside her who knew some martial arts. The servants who were waiting for Lin Qiaosun in the other courtyard were still knocked unconscious. A few people were summoned, allowing the master and servant to escape. Also missing were Lin's father and Lin's mother. It was said that these two people had woken up the day before yesterday. It was probably because of the pills given by the man in the space. They recovered quickly after being poisoned. Lily didn't want to go to Tongling to Lin Qiaxun. Therefore, after knowing that the two couples had recovered, they had never visited them. When she heard that they were missing, she was not happy with the Lin family in her heart, so she thought about it and let it go. Anyway, the plot has changed since she came here. Lin's father and Lin's mother are not dead, and the child in Lin Qiaoi's belly is still there. Even if Monk Jishi wants to help others in the end, he can't involve him in the matter. It's up to her. Thinking of this, Lily is too lazy to care about these things. Anyway, as long as she doesn't die, she won't have to be betrayed by her husband and brother like Lily in the plot, and end up with her head and body separated. Raise the son properly for the original owner. Even if this mission is not completed perfectly, it should not leave any flaws. She thought that the Lin family's matter would be over like this. Lily thought that from now on, as long as she took good care of her son and allowed Song Junya to have fun outside, all she had to do was save the lives of her mother and son. Who would have expected? A few months later, someone from the Lin family came and happily reported the good news to her, saying that her brother Baiyun was getting married. He hoped that she, the elder sister, would go back to her parents' home with her brother-in-law to support her brother's face. For some reason, Lily had a bad premonition in her heart. She didn't even change her clothes, she just had someone prepare a sedan chair, as if she was going to follow the visitor to Beijia, who came to report the news. The servants were shocked when they saw Lily's gloomy face, but thinking that my aunt had a direct temper, and now that she was married to someone with a different status, they just thought she was anxious about her brother's marriage, so they didn't think much about it. He followed him all the way back to Beijia. When Beijia Lily was carried directly into the inner courtyard, Bai's father and Bai's mother were sitting together with Lin Qiaxun's parents, drinking tea and chatting. The atmosphere was cordial and warm. Seeing her daughter coming back with a gloomy face, Mrs. Bai said happily, "Ziahe, you're back. Look, who is this?" Bai's father on the side also held his beard with a satisfied smile, as if waiting. The daughter looked surprised after recognizing the person. "I haven't seen Ziahe for many years. I never imagined that you would grow up so big. Sister Qin, you are so lucky. You have 2 children. You are so much better than us." Mrs. Lin looked at Lily and looked up and down several times. Then he complimented Qin Shi, Bai Mu, so much that Qin Shi's eyes turned into moons with laughter. "Ziahe, this is what you used to do when you were little." "I know, this is Mrs. Lin and Mr. Lin." Lily's face darkened when she saw that the Lin family couple were indeed here, and she walked directly towards her parents. "Mom, Daddy, is it possible that the woman Baiyun is getting married to, is he named Lin?" Her attitude shocked Qin and her father. Qin had thought that her daughter liked to play in the Lin family the most since she was a child. She and Qiaosun, the daughter of the Lin family, had been as close as sisters since they were young. She had been talking about it all these years. As her childhood friend, she should be very happy to meet the Lin family now. Baiyun is her most beloved brother. If she knew that Baiyun was going to marry Lin Qiaosun, logically Lily should be happy. I didn't expect that she would look like this right now. Jean was a little confused for a moment, and subconsciously glanced at her husband. Father Lin and Mother Lin showed embarrassment on their faces, looking a little at a loss. Father Bai glanced at his daughter, then frowned and said, "It's the young lady from the Lin family, Xia He. Didn't you have a close relationship with the girl from the Lin family when you were a child? Why, now that you hear that Miss Lin is going to be your sister-in-law, don't you like it? I wonder if Uncle Lin and Aunt Lin are going to marry Baiyun's little daughter," Lily asked with a sneer. Father Lin and his wife looked at each other awkwardly, and then Mother Lin said with some restraint, "I have never been born again, Miss Bai. You should also know that I and my husband only have a daughter like Xiao Suan." When Lily heard this, she slapped her palm on the table. The table shook with her strength, and the teacup placed on it trembled, making a crisp collision sound, and the tea inside was all shaken. Some spilled out. "Is Baiyun going to marry Lin Qiaoxuan?" Seeing her look like this, Mrs. Lin felt a little embarrassed, but she said forcefully, "Is it possible that Miss Bai dislikes the low status of our Lin family and is not worthy of your Bai family?" Father Lin on the side also looked unhappy and said reluctantly, "Although my Lin family has a low status and does not dare to compare with hundreds of other families in terms of wealth, my daughter has been familiar with women's vows since she was a child, and knows how to be polite. It's just a pity that I don't love myself very much." Lily went on to say something, which surprised her father and mother. At the same time, the expressions of the Lin family couple suddenly changed. Father Lin even covered his chest, his face was as white as gold paper, and Mrs. Lin then he stood up and shouted sternly, "Miss Bai, what do you mean? You can eat randomly, but you can't talk nonsense. Do you want to force our Qiao Sun to die by saying this? Although my daughter is incompetent, she has been aware of her integrity since she was a child. Zhi Zhengzheng, do you want to trap her into despair by saying this?" Book lovers are welcome to come and read. The latest, fastest and most popular serial works are all original. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Cannon Fodder Strategy. Author, Wan Erwr. Chapter 44. At this moment, Lin's father also regained his breath, patted his chest and said, "What on earth did my daughter do to make Miss Bai unhappy, so that she slandered her so much? If Miss Bai doesn't give an explanation, then the Bai family will be powerful. I will definitely not give up. I still don't believe it. There is no king's law in the world." Mrs. Jean's expression was also a little unpleasant. She turned to look at her daughter and couldn't help but scolded, "Xia He, you are confused. Qiao Sun grew up with you when she was a child. Your father and I are watching her behavior." There is a very satisfied look in his eyes. "To be honest, although the Lin family is a bit inferior in status, I really like Qiao Sun, a child with a gentle temperament. He and your brother are in love, and more importantly," Ms. Jean paused after saying this, pursed his lips and smiled again, "your brother is already quite old now, but he has never found a suitable person. Now we know the character of Qiao Sun, and we know the character of your Uncle Lin and Aunt Lin. I believe it. It would be great if the two families could marry Qin and Jin. What's more, I'd like to teach you that Qiao Sun is now pregnant with your brother's flesh and blood, and it will be a double happiness soon. But it's a great thing. Haven't you always felt sorry for Xiaoun and hoped that he could get married and have children as soon as possible?" Bai's father also continued, "Yes, haven't you long been worried that Xiaoun has not married yet, and have you always been thinking about it? This marriage is so suitable, and it is rare that your brother likes it. Why do you still say these words? Not only it will hinder your brother's marriage, and it will also cause discord between our two families." This. Next to him, Father Lin snorted coldly, shook his sleeves, and turned away. "Humph, Mother Lin also snorted and said in a cold voice, "Your family is so rich and powerful, our daughter is not worthy of you, and the child in Chiaosun's belly is not yours to worry about. From now on, our Lin family will be our own. If you raise him, he will become our own heir to the Lin family." "How can that be possible?" Mrs. Jean's face changed with anxiety, and she stood up. Lily also nodded with a sneer, "It's really not possible. Lin Qiaoi can't go anywhere until she gives birth to the child." Bai's father also spoke, "It's true, Chiaosun has my Bai family's flesh and bones in her belly." Before he could finish his words, Lin's father became furious, "You Bai family don't use your power to bully others, really. Excessive. Brother Shi, you misunderstood." Bai's father hurriedly stood up and handed over his hands. Lin's father still had an angry look on his face. Lin's mother looked away with a gloomy face. It was obvious that she was already disgusted with this marriage. Lin Qiaosun can't go anywhere. She will only stay in Beijing until the child is born. Lily saw that Mrs. Jean was at a loss. The Lin family was obviously angry at this moment, so she spoke again. But it was okay that she didn't speak. When she spoke, Father Lin and Mother Lin seemed to have found a reason to vent their anger. They pointed at her nose and scolded, "When I was young, I saw that you were smart, and you and my Chiaosun were just friends. I look at you differently. I didn't expect you to be so bullying. It's really abominable. Could it be that you are bullying me because there is no one in the Lin family, so you insult me? It's just that in the imperial city, under the emperor's feet, don't think that all of you can do anything with just one hand. Zetian, the worst I can do is file a complaint and ask for justice, but I want to see why you arrest the daughter of our Lin family. Ziahe, please stop saying a few words and quickly apologize to your uncle Lin." When Mrs. Jean saw that the matter was getting serious, she also saw that her husband's face was unhappy. However, due to the powerful family situation of her son-in-law, it was difficult for her to speak out and criticize her daughter. She was busy follow up to smooth things over. Lily laughed when she heard Jean's words, "Mom, it's not my responsibility to apologize. The Lin family is shameless and intends to defraud the marriage. How can I be the one to apologize?" Her words were shocking. Father Lin's face was livid, and Mother Lin was so angry that she clutched her chest. Mrs. Jean frowned, looked at her husband's face, and was about to say this, but Lily continued. "Mr. Lin and Mrs. Lin lived in a manor outside the capital more than half a month ago, right? They were poisoned before. They hired a doctor and they just recovered." As soon as Lily finished speaking, Father Lin said he endured the anger in his heart and snorted coldly, "That's true, but if you don't come up with something today, never think that I will let it go." He filed a complaint at every turn. Lily thought of the scene in the plot where De Hong filed a complaint and sneered twice, "I want you to know that the manor was originally the villa of my husband's Song family, and you and your wife you were poisoned before, and I saved your life and sent someone to see a doctor for you, but you didn't know how to repay the favor and left quietly without saying a word. Is this your tutor from the Lin family?" These words made Father Lin forget that he was still angry and said in surprise, "What did you say? What about the Song family's villa?" Baiun obviously said that was the Beijia's villa, but he and Lin Qiaoi also told you that the child in Lin Qiaoi's belly is his, right? When she said this, Lily's face was full of coldness. At this moment, the Beijia couple also sensed something was wrong, and their faces changed. "Change," Lily continued. "It's a pity that what Lin Qiaohun is carrying in her belly is the seed of my husband Song Junyuo. I treat Lin Qiaohun as a sister, but she shamelessly wants to steal my husband. I swallow my anger and want to honor my concubine for the sake of my past sisterhood." He took her into the house with courtesy, but she kept saying that she didn't want to be a concubine. Seeing that I, the wife, refused to give way to her, and seeing that my brother was stupid, she took him as the scapegoat. Bayun was fascinated by the beauty and willing to commit suicide. I have a cuckold on my head. I don't know if Mr. Lin and Mrs. Lin had a hand in this matter. If not, they treat us as fools. Is this the tutor of your Lin family? When Lily said this, she stood up and approached Lin's father. What kind of family does my Song family belong to? Lin Qiaoi is a shameless woman who has sex with men without a matchmaker. She actually wants to be righteous. The so-called betrothal woman will marry her. She is a concubine. She got pregnant before we were married. What qualifications do she have to claim that she is not a concubine? Your Lin family is just a family of ordinary merchants. You also want to be a pheasant like a phoenix. Lin Qiaohun wants to seek my position as the wife? I have done nothing wrong. Even if Lin Qiaoxun wants to plot against me, even if she doesn't do anything wrong, now that the plot has failed, she has come to harm my family instead. What's your intention, Lin? Every time she asked a question, Father Bai was trembling with anger. At the same time, Father Lin's face changed drastically. She forced him to step back and sat down in his previous position. He leaned back and could no longer speak. Come. We Qiaosun, are not pregnant with Bai Yun's flesh and blood, Mother Lin asked with trembling lips. Book lovers are welcome to come and read, the latest, fastest and most popular serial works are all original. Canon Fodder Strategy. Author, Wan Erwr. Chapter 45. It's absolutely true. It's a pity that I regard her as my closest sister, but she plots against my husband. The villa you live in is the property of my Song family. It was me who hired a doctor for you and your wife. If you don't believe me, you can follow me back and ask questions at any time. Lily sneered, straightened her clothes, and then sat back in her seat. Such a woman, how do you think she is qualified to be my daughter-in-law? Mrs. Jean's face was livid, and she was still in disbelief. Ziahe, Lin Qiaoi, is she really pregnant with my uncle's flesh and blood? The Song family is powerful, and Song Junyu has always had many concubines, but the male son can only have the only legitimate son born from his own daughter. In this way, Lily's status is more stable. At this moment, Mrs. Jean did not expect that she really likes and takes a liking to her. Lin Qiaoi, who thought she would be her future daughter-in-law, turned out to be pregnant with her uncle's child, and competed with her daughter for a man. If her son had 3 wives and 4 concubines, Mrs. Jean would naturally feel that it was only natural, but once her son-in-law Zozo was in the arms and someone wanted to compete with her daughter for a man, she felt uncomfortable. She was similar to the original Lily. She hated Lin Qiaoxun as much as she liked her, so she gritted her teeth, her eyes turned cold, and she could no longer speak as she stared at the Lin family couple. No, it's impossible. How could Qiaosun be so confused? I don't believe it. Mother Lin shook her head, and when she was about to speak again, Bai Yun and Lin Qiaosun came in with smiles on their faces. A slight bulge could be seen on Lin Qiaosun's belly. When she saw Lily when she entered the room, her face immediately turned pale. Bai Yun didn't notice her strangeness and hurriedly stepped forward and saluted Lily. My sister is back. Lily ignored the brother whom the original owner had loved since he was a child. Instead, his eyes fell on Lin Qiaoi. Miss Lin, I don't know when you left the villa and you didn't say a word to me. Could it be that I didn't treat guests well? Are you going to take me back? When Lin Qiaosun saw Lily, her body started to tremble, tears welling up in her eyes. Bai Yun frowned and glanced at the two people, and subconsciously turned to Lin Qiaosun. Bian stood over and stared at Lily with some vigilance. Sister, what did you do to Qiaosun before? She is pregnant with the flesh and blood of your brother-in-law. This child is the flesh and blood of the Song family. Do you think I will let him live outside? Lily gave Bai Yun a cold look and said loudly, I heard from my parents that you have given this child away. The child recognizes it, he is really broad-minded. Bai Yun's face turned red. No matter how stupid he was, he could hear the sarcasm in Lily's words. I will treat him as my own flesh and blood. Upon hearing this, Father Bai slammed the table in anger and shouted, confused. Father Lin and Mother Lin shuddered involuntarily. Father Lin suppressed his anger and sternly said to Lin Qiaoi, tell me the truth, whose is the evil seed in your belly? As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Qiaoi seemed to have been greatly frightened, and knelt down with a pop sound, her lips trembling. Dad, I didn't know Song Lang at that time, he already had a wife. I don't know, I drank too much at the time. Dad, please forgive me. Mother Lin's tears kept falling like broken beads. She came forward and squatted beside Lin Qiaoi. The two mother and daughter hugged each other and cried bitterly, you miserable child, why are you so stupid? Now that the truth is out, who needs to say anything? Lin Qiaosun admitted it herself, and Bai Yun looked heartbroken. Qiaosun, this is not your fault. After hearing this, Mrs. Jean wished she could slap her stupid son, seeing how stupid he was. He was looking for a cuckold, and he was so angry. You silly boy, what are you talking about? Our Bajia family can never have such an unclear daughter-in-law, not to mention that she has a relationship with your brother-in-law. Your sister has loved you since childhood. Mother, before Qin could finish her words, Baiun interrupted her loudly, Qiaosun is not such a person. It was all her brother-in-law who deceived her. She is innocent. I really like her. Please sister. Make it perfect with your parents. I'll follow you, but the child in her belly must be from the Song family, and she can't be allowed to leave with her. Lily spread her hands, as if she had no objection, which made Qin stomp her feet. How could that be possible? Okay. Lin Qiaosun is already in ruins. Mom, how can you say that to her? Baiun looked hurt when he heard this. Qiaosun is a good girl. Shut up, Beifu was so angry that he was trembling all over. Just when he was about to speak, Lily persuaded him, Dad, if Baiun likes it, just let him go. Find a woman at home first. He has taken over the house, and as long as he gives birth to a son, he and Lin Qiaoi can get together at will. One is willing to beat, the other is willing to suffer. If you really object, Baiun will hate you to death. Lily's words made Bai's father even more angry. Just as he was about to speak, Baiun pointed at Lily and shouted loudly. It's all your fault. If it weren't for you, my parents wouldn't be so angry. I don't want other women, I want Qiaosun, she has already agreed to marry me. Without even glancing at Baiun from the corner of her eye, Lily sneered at Father and Mother Lin. Master and Mrs. Lin, who are well-educated people, have really learned the lesson. If you want to file a complaint, just file a complaint. Whether you say that our family is bullying others with power, or that my husband deceived women from good families, it's all up to you, Lily said. Father Lin and Mother Lin's faces were burning with pain. Only then did they realize that their daughter was acting inappropriately, and how dare she file a complaint. What's more, Lily saved the lives of both of them. The reporter said that even if Song Junyu had bad intentions, they had just heard clearly how a good girl could easily go home and drink with a man. Father Lin couldn't help but want to find a crack in the ground to crawl in. After hearing what Lily said, she didn't even look at her daughter. I raised my daughter without education, and almost wrongly blamed Miss Bai. It is really our fault. From now on, this daughter will be treated as if I have never had a child. As soon as Father Lin said these words, Mother Lin burst into tears. Master, you can't. How will Qiaosun live like this? Humph. A loving mother is a loser. If you hadn't indulged her then, how could she have brought such great shame to our Lin family now? I have never given birth to such a shameless daughter. Father Lin was furious and yelled. Then Lin Qiaosun and Lin's mother hugged each other and cried. At this moment, a figure in red clothes suddenly rushed in, pointed at Lin's father and said, Master, you can't say that. After all, the lady is your only daughter. If you don't let her go back to the Lin family, where will you let her go? Book lovers are welcome to come and read, the latest, fastest and most popular serial works are all original. Cannon Fodder Strategy. Author, Juan Erwr. Chapter 46. De Hong glanced at Father Lin angrily and wiped away her tears. My young lady was also deceived, and she is also a victim. Lily felt unhappy when she saw this girl. When she saw that Father Lin's face showed some hesitation after she finished speaking, she asked, "Even if my husband has evil intentions, as a girl, shouldn't you be loyal and protect the master? When my husband and Lin Qiao did good things, where were you?" As soon as Lily finished speaking, De Hong's face froze. I. It's okay that she didn't speak. Balin's father was a little worried about his daughter when she said it. Now he saw that Lily's questions were very reasonable, and he felt very angry. Miss Bai is right, where were you when Xiao Sun's accident happened? How could De Hong answer? At that time, she saw that Lin Qiao also admired Mr. Song and wanted to fulfill the young lady, so she deliberately avoided it. If she had known that such troubles would happen later, Song Junyu had a wife and children. Master, why would she leave these two people in the same room? When Father Lin saw that De Hong was speechless, he became even more angry. De Hong, you were abandoned by your parents when you were 7 years old. I took you in because of pity. How did you protect the young lady? Master, are you going to side with Miss Bajia, regardless of the relationship between father and daughter? De Hong blurted out her words, and Lin's father's face stiffened with anger, and his whole body started to tremble. In fact, after saying these words, De Hong secretly felt extremely guilty. She didn't think that Lin Qiaoxun's accident had something to do with her, but when Lily asked, she was speechless and felt guilty in her heart. She bit her lip. Dare to speak. Lin Qiaoxun fell into Mother Lin's arms, crying helplessly, and only murmured, "It's none of De Hong's business, it's my daughter's fault." She only said these two sentences back and forth, but she was so moved that De Hong covered her mouth and cried too. From the plot that emerged from her memory, Lily knew that the two masters and servants were actually sisters. She was not surprised at all when she saw the two of them blaming each other on her, but she waved a little impatiently. Wave. Okay, if you want to cry, just wait until you return to the other village and then cry enough. Lin Qiaoxun, you are pregnant with my husband's flesh and blood in your belly. The heirs of the Song family must not be left outside. If you want to find another lover, you have to keep your heirs in the Song family. Lily's words made Lin Qiaoxun's face change drastically. Her whole body was shaking like fallen leaves in the wind. She covered her stomach with a stubborn look on her face. No, no, my child must never leave my side. It's okay if I don't leave your side. I'm willing to make the decision for Song Junyu and let you in, Lily said expressionlessly, and Lin Qiaohun cried so hard that she couldn't breathe and shook her head. No, I not to be a concubine. Seeing this scene, Bai's father turned blue with anger. Ms. Jean slapped her hand heavily on the small table beside the chair and shouted sternly, "Ridiculous! My daughter is generous and willing to let you in. You are not only ungrateful, but also don't want to. If you are a concubine, do you still want to be the first wife? You, the Lin family, want to cheat on your marriage. If you don't know what is good and what is wrong, do you believe that I will sue you in court?" Just now, Father Lin was clamoring to go to court to file a complaint, but now the whole family started to become reluctant, and Father Lin looked very embarrassed. Brother Bai, this little girl is ignorant, and Lin didn't know about it before. He was originally a very tough person, but now that his daughter forced him into this embarrassing look, he was already very embarrassed and annoyed. Before, he would never apologize and admit his mistake, but now he had no choice but to put down his posture. He felt aggrieved when he apologized, and Beifa was too angry to speak. Since Mr. Lin is sensible, he should advise my daughter. Since she is a member of my Song family, although I don't like Miss Lin's behavior in my heart, my husband likes her very much, so he placed her in the Lin family. From now on, she also has no worries about food and clothing. As soon as Lily finished speaking, De Hong couldn't help but said, "My young lady was originally born into a very wealthy family, so why would she care about your Song family's things? Song Junyu is not a human being, and he deceived my young lady's body." Lin Keoksun felt sad when he said such words to defend Lin Keoksun in public, but Father Lin's face felt hot when he heard it, and he shouted sternly, "Shut up." Lily suppressed the laughter in her heart and rolled her eyes. "Master Lin is a good tutor." Father Lin's face turned red with embarrassment, and he couldn't bear it anymore. He stepped forward and slapped De Hong in the face. When something like this happened, Beijia and his wife were naturally angry, and drove Father Lin's family out regardless of their son's obstruction. Beiji didn't give Father Lin and others a chance to speak, and directly had their salutes moved to the room. The carriage took them to the villa again. 2 days later, the news that De Hong escaped from the village reached Lily's ears. She knew in her heart that as long as Lin Qiaohun was still in Zhuangzi, De Hong would jump out on her own sooner or later. Lily guessed that De Hong should go to the living Buddha Jishi for help, so she had people keep an eye on Jishi's temple. Within half a day, a servant came to repay him. A monk who looked immodest and dressed in rags came to the Song family to visit her. Lily has already been prepared in her heart. Although there are monsters, demons, monks, and gods in this world, although the death of the original owner Lily was related to Jishi's intervention, she is not afraid at all. Since Jishi claims to be the savior of the world and the people, now that she has neither harmed anyone's life nor done anything untoward, she is upright and is not afraid of her shadow being distorted, so even if Jishi came to her door, she would just calmly invite the monk in. She had seen the image of Jishi in the plot, so when she saw a monk Jishi who was not amazing in appearance, of medium height, and very ordinary in appearance, and even looked a bit like a gamer, she was not surprised, but it was just surprising. He placed the tea bowl and nodded to Jishi, "Master is here to visit." "What's the important matter?" Jishi glanced at her with doubt in his eyes. "The female benefactor has not been seen for a few days. She seems to be a different person. The hostility in her body has disappeared a lot." From these words alone, Lily could feel that Jishi had seen her before. To be honest, she didn't have a good impression of Jishi, who was known as the living Buddha. Song Junyu had this bad relationship and knew that Lily might kill people. Why didn't he help Lin's father and Lin's mother when they were poisoned? Since he has great power and can ride on the wind and clouds, when Lin Qiaoi was poisoned and had a miscarriage, he was plotted by Lily to save Lin Qiaoi and protect her life. Since he can save a person, why not send Buddha to the West to save people? In the end, book lovers are welcome to come and read. The latest, fastest and most popular serial works are all original. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Cannon Fodder Strategy. Author, Wan Erwr. Chapter 47. If he had rescued the Lin family and his wife before the incident started, wouldn't there have been a lot of bad things that happened later, and Lily wouldn't have actually ended up being beheaded? In the final analysis, although Lily was at fault, Jishi watched things happen with a cold eye and only rescued those who seemed to him to be good. In fact, he himself had fallen into the trap of cliché and no longer deserved the title of Jishi and saved people. Master's eyesight is very good, and he doesn't say anything secretly in front of Mingren. Is there something important for Master to come here? Lily was very impatient to talk to the monk, so she frowned and asked straight to the point. Jishi's expression paused, then he smiled and said, "The female donor seems to be very unhappy with the poor monk. I wonder what offends the poor monk. I dare not say that I am offended, but I have never believed in Buddhism, so if there is any blame, "Master, I will forgive you." Lily was not polite, seeing Jishi frowning at what she said, and then a smile appeared on the corner of her mouth. But, in this case, the poor monk also has something to say. The female benefactor's house is full of demons. Apparently someone is practicing evil magic. The poor monk came here a month ago. To Lily's surprise, what she was talking about was not about Lin Qiaoi as she imagined. Instead, she was talking about her father-in-law in this body. She didn't care whether Song Junyu's father practiced any magic or not. After all, it had nothing to do with her. Besides, she gave birth to the only heir of the Song family. Even if her father-in-law wanted to cause harm to the world, he would never do anything to his only grandson and daughter-in-law. At most, others would be unlucky, and a dead Taoist friend would not die a poor Taoist. As long as she and her son did not do anything wrong. Anyway, even if Jishi kills Song Junyu's father in the end, these sanctimonious monks will never make things difficult for her again. In any case, she was safe, and she didn't know any magic, so Lily didn't want to care about things that were inconsistent with good and evil, so she didn't say anything when she heard Jishi's words. Female donors are related to the common people of the country. Female donors should be righteous. Jishi frowned and was about to speak to persuade Lily, but Lily was impatient to hear his words and interrupted him. "Master, if you don't have anything else, that's all, please come back. I think I'm walking and sitting upright, so I won't be surprised if I knock on the door in the middle of the night. What kind of monster or devil is there? If I'm destined to have this calamity in my life, it's just my destiny." As he opened his mouth to drive people away, Jishi's lips moved and then he laughed. The female donor never thought about accumulating virtues and blessings for the next life. Hearing this, Lily couldn't help but laugh. "Master, look at me, am I someone who has an afterlife?" She was just here to do a task. She was not afraid of the cause and effect of the past life, nor the retribution of the future life, not to mention the original owner Lily. He had already been tortured to the point of losing his head and body. What could be worse than that? When Jishi heard what she said, he really felt that something was wrong. When he pinched it with his fingers, his expression changed. "How so?" "Master, if nothing happens, please come back. I am not afraid of any monsters, nor of retribution. Master, don't talk to me about accumulating blessings. Since the master has great skills, he should be able to figure out everything," Lily said. "When I got here, I no longer wanted to pay attention to Jishi. Just when he was about to call for people to see off the guests, Jishi finally couldn't hold it back and hurriedly said, 'That being the case, I would like to ask the donor, are Miss Lin Jiao and Sun Lin's family at home now?' He finally stopped talking nonsense and asked the main topic. Lily smiled, but did not chase him away. "It is true that he is in the mansion. Is it possible that the master is here just for the Lin family?" Jishi nodded with a somewhat embarrassed expression, no longer as calm and self-possessed as before. "Miss De Hong once asked me to take Miss Lin's family out. Can the female donor help me?" "No." Lily smiled and rejected Jishi. Seeing that he was a little stunned, she continued, "Lin is pregnant with my husband's flesh and blood. This is the blood of the Song family. I can't allow her to leave with her. Master, I understand the compassion in my heart, but Master should also know that there is no reason in the world to allow the Lin family to wander away with the bones and blood of my Song family. There is nothing wrong with me doing this, and I am not afraid of taking it to the government. I just want Ms. Lin to have a peaceful pregnancy and raise her baby in October. Whether she wants to stay or leave, I will let her go. But if she doesn't want to be a concubine and wants me to make room for her, I have to see if she has it. That's it." After a conversation that left Jishi speechless, Lily asked someone to invite the worried Jishi out. However, things did not end so quickly. It was just like in the plot. De Hong still found a chance to complain. However, the difference between this life and the plot was that Lily did not kill Mr. Lin and his wife. Monk Jishi did not do anything wrong in Lily. Under the circumstances, she naturally did not help De Hong as in the plot. Because of this, De Hong's complaint not only failed to win a reputation for loyalty, but on the contrary, she caused Lin Qiaoi to do everything without Lily being at fault. Ugly name. Lin Qiaoi became pregnant out of wedlock. She was not persecuted by Lily anymore, and her parents were not dead. It was because she later wanted to marry Baiun early because she did not want to be a concubine, so she lied that the child in her belly was Baiun. The parents of hundreds of families were also very unforgiving of her. De Hong went through all kinds of hardships and finally sued the imperial court. In the end, the emperor found that Lin Qiaoxun was not harmed, not to mention that Lily wanted to keep the child in Lin Qiaoxun's belly in the Song family. It is also extremely reasonable. Everyone thinks that De Hong's behavior is unreasonable. Therefore, De Hong did not get the reputation of the loyal maid in the plot. Instead, she received a good beating and was kicked out of the court. Although Lin Qiaoi did not want to be a concubine, her reputation has been ruined now. The news of her pregnancy before marriage has spread throughout the imperial capital, especially after De Hong's complaint. Father Lin had the best face. He was almost angry to death when his daughter lost such an important person. Therefore, even though Mother Lin felt sorry for her daughter, Father Lin did not allow Lin Qiaohun to return to the Lin family at all. He decided to sell her daughter to Lin Qiaohun was finally brought into the Song family as a concubine. After she became a concubine, she was not reconciled and cried all day long. At first, Song Junyu liked her weak appearance very much, but as time went by, Song Junyu himself was the eldest young master, and he was held in the palm of his hand all day long. He occasionally coaxed Lin Qiaohun to have a taste of something new, which is called fun, and time passed. After a while, Song Junyu couldn't bear it any longer. He was very upset when he saw Lin Qiaoxun crying, and gradually ignored her. As soon as Lin Qiaoxun was treated coldly by Song Junyu, she naturally gave up on the love in her heart. But because Baiun didn't get Lin Qiaoxun, what he couldn't get was always the best. Taking advantage of his relationship as Lily's younger brother, Baiun secretly after hooking up with Lin Qiaoi, when he was caught, Baiun thought he was Lily's most beloved brother, and thought he would be fine. However, Lily thought of the fate of the original owner in the plot, and had Baiun beaten. Suddenly, he was kicked out. Beijia also gave up on this son, married him a wife, and forced him to give birth to a son. Beijia had an heir, so they turned a blind eye to Baiun. Lin Qiaoi gave birth to a son after being pregnant for 10 months. Unfortunately, because of her reputation, her son was discriminated against from birth. When the child grew up and learned about the reason why Lin Qiaoi married into the Song family, he is also very shameless towards this mother and has a very cold relationship with her. Starting from the death of Lin's father and Lin's mother, Lily just didn't take action against Lin Qiaoxun like the original owner. She changed the situation to a completely different ending. Song Junyu's father failed in the end, but although he lost his official position, because he practiced demon magic and ended up fighting Ji Shi, he didn't have time to fight for power, so the Song family still lived a life of being a wealthy man. Lily raised her son. After his father failed in the martial arts battle, Song Junyu lost his aura as the Grand Master's son and lost his previous status. However, his nature of looking for flowers and willows did not change. He died at the age of 40. Lin Qiaoxun and Baiun Shi once eloped, but was caught after not going very far. Lily sent her back to the Lin family after Song Junyu's death. She only heard that Lin's father sent her to a nunnery for reputation, and Lin's mother also because of this the daughter could not lift her head, and eventually died early. De Hong didn't get a good ending either. When Lin's father wanted to send Lin Qiaoi to a nunnery, she argued with Lin's father and almost got into a fight for the girl's happiness. In the end, Lin's father got angry. She was sold to someone else as a concubine. Lily later specifically inquired about her whereabouts and heard that her life was extremely miserable. At first, she was treated badly by the first wife because of her unruly nature. It took a few years to see her again. At that time, his face already looked timid and cowardly, as if he was a different person. He no longer had the recklessness and impulsiveness he had when he stood up for Lin Kyoxun. I heard that the concubines of the wealthy businessman to whom she was committed encouraged her to go against his wife, and they had a conflict. The wife gave her medicine that hurt her body, and she was beaten with a plank, her martial arts skills were disabled, and she took a lot of food. Now she no longer has the glory she had in the plot, nor does she have a good relationship with Lin Kyoxun, the master and servant. After all, she has just become a useless person, or she can't hold her head up and lose face. That kind of thing. Book lovers are welcome to come and read. The latest, fastest and most popular serial works are all original. /U003CA/U003E. Cannon Fodder Strategy. Author, Juan ERWR. Chapter 48. When Lily entered the space again, she already felt that she couldn't wait to improve her skills. Fortunately, the demons and monks, one good and one evil, she met this time were either related to her, or they thought they were just and would not take action against them. She is lucky this time. After all, it is her father-in-law who has practiced magic and will not harm her. Jishi also thinks that he should help the world and save people instead of killing people, so these two people have amazing means and magic. But no one could deal with her. But if she had been less lucky, she might not only have lost her life early, but she would also have been unable to complete her mission. You asked for help this time, so again, what are you going to choose? The cold male voice rang. Lily had already been tasked with a difficult plot once, and now she had the confidence in her heart. Every time she asked, this man had helped him several times, but he didn't know what kind of opportunities he had, so he hesitated and decided to take a gamble. I want to choose difficult tasks. The man was silent for a while, and then Lily's information appeared on the screen again. Gender, female, variable. Name, Lily. Age, 21. Intelligence, 50, out of 100. Appearance, 60, out of 100. Physical strength, 57, 100 full points. Force, 10, out of 100 points. Skills, none. Specialties, none. Charisma, 21, out of 100. None of the information was added, and Lily already had a plan to add her next point. When the strange man asked, she chose without hesitation, I want to add it to intelligence. The man was silent for a while, and then the information on the screen changed to gender, female, variable. Name, Lily. Age, 21. Intelligence, 51, out of 100. Appearance, 60, out of 100. Physical strength, 57, 100 full points. Force, 10, out of 100 points. Skills, none. Specialties, none. Charisma, 21, out of 100. Although the increase in intelligence each time was not much, Lily was still satisfied. Should we carry out the mission again, or rest? When hearing the man's question, Lily chose without hesitation, continue the mission. The man didn't say anything anymore. When the familiar feeling of dizziness came, Lily woke up again and heard a woman crying in front of her. Master, is this person the enemy of our sect? There were waves of pain in her mind, and a lot of memories rushed into her mind. Lily felt her body instinctively speak, more than an enemy. Your master Boguhungza was pissed to death by this big devil Yang Xiao. After saying these words, I don't know if Lily had the impression of these plots in her mind before, so she accepted the plot very easily and happily, without much torture. After she entered the world of swordsmen, she once again entered the plot of Heaven and Dragon Sword. Last time she became an important supporting role who quickly received the lunchbox, but this time her role was much more important, although in the end it was he died, but in the middle, this character played a very important role in promoting the plot. When she realized who she was, Lily almost spat out a mouthful of old blood. She looked at Jiziofu, who was kneeling in front of her with a sad but somewhat proud look on her face. Thousands of mud horses roared by in her mind. "Are you very proud?" Lily, who had just become the master of Ju, stared coldly at Jiziofu in front of her, feeling extremely depressed. She had become the master of Ju, who was reviled by thousands of readers and film and television fans. He was the culprit who broke up the relationship between Yang Xiao and Jiziofu. As Jiziofu's mentor, he was eventually scolded by Jiziofu's daughter as an old thief and nun. No, Jiziofu's face showed a look of surprise and embarrassment. When she learned Yang Xiao's true identity just now, she was really proud. Back then, her master Bogu Hongzhe was famous all over the world. But in the end, Yang Xiao was pissed to death. She originally wanted to ask the master for details, but she didn't dare to ask more, but she was secretly proud of her daughter's father. "Let's go. From now on, you are no longer my disciple, nor a disciple of the Ime section. You have a daughter out of wedlock with the demon sex big devil. You are not worthy of being my disciple of Ime, nor are you worthy of being my exterminator disciple. Your father Ji, the old hero, will be even more ashamed of you. You are not worthy of the surname Ji, and you are not worthy of using the Ime sex martial arts." At this point, Lily said nothing, thinking about the original martial arts method of extermination in her mind. He stretched out his hand with very unfamiliar skills and used his memory to destroy Jiziofu's martial arts. Her movements were very jerky and her martial arts was not running smoothly. In the eyes of Jiziofu, Ding Minjun, and others, it was because Master Mija only thought that Jiziofu was her apprentice before and was merciful. Everyone thought of Master Mija's past methods and thought that Jiziofu would definitely die if she could not escape today. Unexpectedly, Master Miju actually let her go without saying a word, and only disabled her martial arts. Ding Minjun was jealous and resentful, but I felt that the master was too partial, and I couldn't help but feel even more resentful towards Jiziofu. "Master, please take back your life." Master Jiziofu knelt down. After her martial arts was abolished, her face turned pale. She didn't know whether it was because she had no martial arts from now on or because Lily said that decent people were ashamed of her. His expression changed drastically. Lily was about to speak when she heard a subtle sound not far away. She had seen the original plot and knew that Zhangwuji should be in the grass at this moment, but it should be because the original protagonist had practiced martial arts, so the sound was amplified several times in her ears. Just as she was about to speak, a young girl's voice rang out. "Old thief, let go of my mother." As he spoke, a petite figure rushed towards the side. Behind him, a young man with a voice like a drake shouted in panic, "Sister Bugui." Lily glanced in the direction of the voice and saw that the young man was handsome. The figure of young Zhangwuji appeared in her mind. Thinking of the scene when Jiziofu was executed, she put her hands behind her back and said, "How can Zhangwuji be so handsome? His heroic spirit gave birth to such an unworthy son like you. Jiziofu was not a woman and let down your sixth uncle. You actually walked the same road with her. I wonder if you will have the honor to see your father in your sleep in the future." Zhangwuji's face turned red after saying this. I was so red that I was speechless. At this moment, Lily didn't even look at Jiziofu, who was lying limply on the ground. She turned around and was walking away. Yang Bugui had already thrown herself on her mother, crying loudly. Her pair of red tearful eyes just stared at Lily hatefully. Zhangwuji encouraged her. He had enough courage to step forward and stop Lily. I wonder why Master Tai treats Aunt Ji like this. I am a cute divider. There is nearly 1,000 words left before the last chapter is finished, so I won't open a separate chapter. It has been cut to the previous chapter. Girls and Chinese readers, please read it again. The cliff love is 10,000 years. Book lovers are welcome to come and read. The latest, fastest and most popular serial works are all original. Cannon Fodder Strategy. Author, Wan Erwr. Chapter 49. She learned my Ime martial arts. Not only did she have an affair with the demon Yang Xiao, she actually gave birth to his evil son. Ji Ziofu is no longer worthy of being my Ime disciple. Is it wrong for me to cripple her martial arts? Lily had already forgotten from her memory. It was learned in the novel that Master Mija's original family name was Fang and she originally lived in Henan. Her brother Fang Pingyuan was a very good person. She had a close relationship with Master Mija's brother and sister since they were young. Unfortunately, they were killed by Xiesun of the Ming cult in the end. Xiesun was to use this move to lure out his enemy Chang Kun. It was precisely because of the death of his brother Fang Ping that Master Zhu hated the Ming Jiao to the core. Gu Hongzhi was originally her senior brother and had a marriage contract with her. But in the fight with Yang Xiao, he was defeated by Yang Xiao, and finally died in depression. Because of these two things, Miumi hated the Ming cult to the core. She hated the Ming cult the most in her life and was upright. She originally loved and protected her apprentices, but her hatred for the Ming cult was a knot that could not be untied. Because of this, Ji Xiaofu unexpectedly gave birth to a daughter with her enemy Yang Xiao, especially when she had already chosen a husband for Ji Xiaofu. She was betrayed by her apprentice and was also furious. In the original plot, there was a moment of anger because Ji Xiaofu refused to take action against Yang Xiao and beat her to death. But this time it is Lily. She will not kill Ji Xiaofu, but she will not look good on her either. After all, she is doing the task for her to fulfill her wish of extinction. Although Lily's IQ is not necessarily that how tall she was, but she knew who she was, so it was naturally impossible for her to sympathize with Ji Xiaofu. After all, in addition to hating Yang Xiao, she also hated this apprentice the most. Master. Ji Xiaofu's mournful and timid voice came from behind. Yang Bui, who was supporting her at the side, glared at Juju with a pair of resentful eyes. You old thief, you are a bad person. You hit me. Mom, you are a bad person. If you don't regret it, shut up. Ji Xiaofu knew that Mija had a weird and tough temper, and was afraid that her daughter's words would make her angry. She wished she could cover her daughter's mouth, but she saw that Mija was not as she imagined. He would normally draw his sword to kill people, but instead he just looked at Zhang Wuji coldly and looked away. In the legend of heaven and dragon slaying, Master Mija is very powerful in martial arts, but her age and seniority are lower than those of Song Yuanqiao and others in the seven heroes of Wuodang. However, her martial arts is extremely high, and she never leaves anyone from the Ming cult alive under her Yaishan sword. But it happened that Master Mija was born, and Zhang Wuji appeared. Zhang Wuji is like a plug-in specially made to deal with Master Mija. As long as he meets him, Master Mija will do nothing good. Not only is the Ming cult promoted in his hands, but the two disciples he loves most, one and Yang Xiao had an affair, and in the end Yang Bui was rescued by Zhang Wuji, while the other Zhou's Hiruo was almost destroyed by Zhang Wuji. It would be fine if Zhang Wuji and Zhou's Hiruo were together in the end, but he was passionate by nature and failed many women in the end, which made all the women heartbroken for him. Naturally, Master Mija thought that he would not be reconciled. Even if he died, he would have achieved Ming Jiaowuji. Her innocent reputation was tarnished by Fan Yao, the right envoy of light, before she died. How could she be willing to accept it? Lily has done several missions, and she has a pretty good idea. Although this mission seems to be very dangerous, she did not turn all her intelligence into physical strength like the last time in Swordsman, nor did she encounter any problems. For a person like Lin Pingzi, who is moody and angry, with completely changed and distorted temperament, although Zhang Wuji is the male protagonist, fortunately it was still early when Lily came over. At this moment, Zhang Wuji was just an ordinary child. He had not yet reached the 9th level. Yang Shengong lays the foundation for the future. When she thought of the 9 Suns magic skill, Lily's heart suddenly became a little hot. She had read the original work and knew the plot. She knew that Zhang Wuji later had extremely high martial arts talent. In addition to being the male protagonist, he was born with better luck than others. He was able to meet in addition to many great things that others would not encounter. The most important thing is that he practiced the 9 Yang divine skill as a foundation. After completing several missions, Lily couldn't remember any of the martial arts moves in Yu Lingshan's time because her intelligence was too low. She knew the secrets of the Yishan sword and the dragon-slaying sword, and also knew that the cave was in Huashan Mountain. As long as she worked hard to find it, don't be afraid of not being able to find it. After practicing the 9 Sun magic kung fu, even if Zhang Wuji has another adventure in the future, Lily still doesn't believe in the original martial arts of Master Mija. As long as she practices diligently, even if she can't perform 50% of the original martial arts, but if she practices the 9 Sun Kung Fu, the magical power shouldn't be too bad. Her heart skipped a beat, and even though Ji Xiaofu, Yang Bui, and others were injured and fell to the ground, they gave instructions to Ding Minjun and other apprentices. I'm going to travel around as a teacher. You go back to Imei first. There's no need to look for me. When it's time for me to go back, I will go back naturally. She had always had a bad temper, and now everyone thought she was just because of Ji Xiaofu and Ji Xiaofu. Yang Xiaozai was stimulated by the incident, so no one in the group of disciples dared to speak, and they all hurriedly responded. Lily then raised the Yishan sword and walked away in the direction of Mount Hua in her memory. The reputation of extinction is well known in the world, so when she rushed towards Huashan, even if there were people who recognized her occasionally, although they were greedy for the heavenly sword in her hand, no one dared to come up and grab it. She met several people along the way. Lily is a small fish and shrimp. Once she notices that someone is staring at her, she will immediately change places. She chooses to walk in the deep mountains and old forests where there are few people. This way, it takes more time than normal walking. She is also working hard when she is on the road. Familiar with the original martial arts moves of annihilation. Although it was impossible to fully utilize the extermination skills in a short period of time, at least she could barely practice her tricks to the point where she could bluff people. After more than a month, she finally appeared on the top of Mount Huashan. Calculating that this time should have been when Zhang Wuji sent Yang Bui to Mingqiao, it would still be some time before he got the secret book. Lily quietly hid on the top of Huashan Mountain and searched for the whereabouts of the white ape for more than half a month. I don't want to deceive others, although the Zhu family living near Huashan Mountain is not popular, but today's Lily is just a useless flower display, relying on the reputation of extinction to scare people, but if she really takes action, she may not be the antagonists of the author's canon fodder minor characters. Hard work paid off. After staying in Huashan for almost a month, Lily finally found the legendary white ape with the 9 Yang Sutras sewn into its belly. She had not left the old forest for a month, and the Taoist robe on her body had long been worn. It was already dirty and unkempt, and it looked like a savage. I don't know if it was for this reason. When the white ape was healing his wounds and seeking advice, the white ape did not struggle and resist. Lily conveniently handed over the book. The 9 Suns scripture was taken down. All that was left was to find a quiet place to practice. When she got the book, she was extremely excited. Book lovers are welcome to come and read. The latest, fastest and most popular serial works are all original. /U003CA/U003E. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Cannon Fodder Strategy. Author, Juan ERWR. Chapter 50. In this era, wars broke out everywhere, people were in dire straits, and many houses were empty. It was very easy to find a deserted place. She chose an abandoned animal nest, cleaned it up briefly, and went straight into it, regardless of the difference in environment. Got in. At the beginning, she recognized the words in the scriptures but couldn't understand them clearly. Some of the awkward words made her have to find out the original memories in her mind and compare them. She couldn't remember the meridians clearly, although there was an original owner. The memory is still there, but because of her own IQ, it was very difficult when she started to learn the 9-Yang manual. Lily later spent the first month practicing character recognition and acupuncture points. Only after she understood these things clearly did she start to truly learn the martial arts in the 9-Yang manual. People who have never been exposed to such martial arts did not learn very well at first, and Lily was not a naturally intelligent person. The part of the Juyang scripture that Jui knew was incomplete, so it took him more than half a year to learn it. He finished memorizing the 9 sun magic skills by force. Once she memorizes the sutra, she can think of martial arts at any time in her mind. Therefore, Lily is not ready to stay in this place anymore. Miu's original wish is to prosper the Imei sect and eradicate the Ming section. She also remembering her mission, she tidied up a bit. After tearing off most of the 9 sun magic technique and destroying it, she found the remaining half in the cave where Zhangwuji originally obtained the scripture, practiced the bone shrinking technique and then put it in. On the way back to the Imei sect, Lily didn't walk very fast. She had to familiarize herself with the original martial arts methods of Juyang. On the other hand, she did not hire a carriage, but walked on her own feet. She also practiced Qigong and the martial arts of the 9-Yang manual. She had also started practicing. Apart from the initial discomfort, by the time she returned to Imei 2 months later, she was already very familiar with running the 9-Yang manual. It was very quiet outside the Imei sect at the moment. 2 female disciples guarding the door were seen sitting on the futon with their hands clasped together. When one disciple heard the footsteps and opened his eyes and saw Mija, his expression changed immediately. "Master. Mimi has been away from the sect for nearly a year. Many people in the world have not heard from her in the past 6 months except for 7 or 8 months ago. Everyone in the Imei sect thinks that an unexpected incident has already happened to Master Mija. A few days ago, Ding Minjun took over the position of acting leader for half a year. Now the Imei sect has officially recognized her as the leader. They are preparing to hold a conference in 2 months to invite heroes from all over the world to join the Imei section. It was a gift for the leader to ascend the throne. Unexpectedly, at this time, extinction would come back. The 2 disciples were wearing Taoist robes and looked frightened. At this moment, one of them was busy going in to make an announcement, while the other knelt down to Lily. There are no rules, how can you behave in such a panic? Lily thought about the way she behaved in her mind. She frowned and shouted. The 2 female disciples thought of the usual cold and hard character of me. If anyone dared to talk back, they all agreed. When Ding Minjun got the news and led a group of people out, he happened to see Lily, who was not looking glamorous at the moment. The smile on his face suddenly froze, and there was a bit of disappointment in his eyes, and everyone gathered around. He came over and was about to ask, but Lily had already waved her hand and glanced at Ding Minjun. Having been out on parade for the teacher for nearly a year, has the Imei army done anything major? The original owner's obsession was that the Ming cult had not been destroyed, but because of Zhangwuji, he had gained the support of the right path. It seemed that because Zhangwuji had a reputation for benevolence and righteousness, all the bad things the Ming cult people had done in the past were wiped out. Afterwards, she felt very dissatisfied and unwilling. Another thing was that the Imei sect would flourish and dominate the martial arts world. Since it was a task, Lily naturally wanted to do her best, so she asked some questions. Fortunately, the Ime sect had an amazing reputation, so there was no trouble for a year and a half, except for Zhang Sanfen, as in the plot. First he lost his apprentice, and then it seemed like Zhang Wuji also lost him, and nothing else happened. Master Zhang once sent a girl over. Junior sister Ding temporarily placed her in the back mountain and plans to accept her as her disciple. Jingxia glanced at Ding Minjun and saw a slightly unhappy look on her face, but Ime sending female disciples is not so rash, especially when Ding Minjun is the head disciple like her, and it is even easier to accept a disciple. Now that Mixi is back, Jingxia naturally does not dare to hide it from Mija. In the plot, Zhang Sanfen did not often send female disciples over. Lily knew that Zhou's Hiruo, who was probably one of the female protagonists, had appeared at this moment. She nodded without even looking at Ding Minjun. In that case, you will come tomorrow. I went out and invited the 7 heroes of Wudain to come over. I have something to discuss with them. Jingxia responded, and then Lily had a cold face and imitated the original owner's posture and said, I will be in seclusion for a period of time after tomorrow, and I will handle all matters. Jingxian will take over for the time being. At this point, Mija Yi waving her sleeves, she turned around and entered the inner hall. Several female disciples were busy fetching water and delivering food for her. Most of the fatigue from running around for almost a year was washed away. After settling down, Lily began to practice the martial arts of the Nine Yang Manual again. After half a year of exploration and combining it with the incomplete Nine Yang Manual in the original body, she slowly found some ways. Whenever she had free time every day, she would practice martial arts. A few days passed by in a flash. When Jingxian knocked on the door and said someone from Wudain had come, Lily took off her elastic robe and got up to go out to entertain the guests. Although she hadn't slept for several days, Bei had been practicing the Nine Yang Manual for several days, and she looked not only not tired, but also full of energy. Zhang Sanfen and others were already in the reception room. It was similar to what was described in the original article. Zhang Sanfen looked white with white hair and beard. But he has rosy cheeks and looks like a fairy. He is a little thin, but quite tall. He looks like he doesn't understand the fireworks of the world. Among the 7 heroes of Wudain, Song Yuanqiao is much older and has grown a beard. He looks very steady and doesn't speak much. The 3rd hero, Yu Dayan, did not come because he was disabled. Except for Zhang Qiushan, the other 5 were all when they arrived. When they saw me, everyone stood up and cupped their hands. Zhang Sanfen smiled and said, "Mrs. She specially invited me, and Ping Dao just came here for a walk. I hope Mrs. She won't dislike Ping Dao for coming so suddenly. It has been nearly a year since Mrs. Ju disappeared from the world, which is about the same time as the disappearance of his disciple Zhang Wuji. What's more, someone said that Master Mija had appeared in Butterfly Valley that day. That was when Zhang Wuji disappeared." Zhang Sanfen knew that Master Mija had the most ruthless character, and that his Wuji child was the daughter of Qiushan and Susu. Born, Susu is the daughter of the white-browed Eagle King. Yin Tianzheng was the Mingjiao existence alongside Xiesun in the past. Mija Shitai hates people in the Mingjiao the most. Zhang Sanfen lives a long time, and knows more than others. Regarding the Mingjiao senior brother Gu Hongzi also knew what was going on, and he was afraid that he would be angry and see Zhang Wuji with no one else around, so he simply killed him and silenced him. Book lovers are welcome to come and read. The latest, fastest and most popular serial works are all original. Canon Fodder Strategy. Author, Wan Erwr. Chapter 51. If Zhang Sanfen, another man in the world, is not worried about this, but Mija is said to kill demons and eliminate demons, and he will never leave a living person under the Yishan sword in his hand. Even if he knows that he should not judge the heart of a gentleman with a villain's heart, his own Wuji child, it was so close to the time of extinction that Zhang Sanfen had no choice but to doubt it. Therefore, he knew that after Mija returned to the Ime sect, he sent disciples to invite his 5 disciples. As a respected member of the sect and he was not under Mija, he shouldn't have come, but he was worried that the only flesh and blood left by Zhongquishan would still be followed. Master Tai, I don't know that Sister Fu is now. Zhiziofu has been a little cold towards Yin Lighting for some reason since she was ordered by her master to slay demons a few years ago. However, Yin Lighting felt that Zhiziofu was her own. Because of his fiancée, and because he lives in the Wudan Mountains where there are no female disciples, he is deeply devoted to his fiancée. Every time he sees her, he always wants to say a few more words. Unexpectedly, in recent years, the master of Jutai did not mention the marriage between the two, but it made Yin Lighting a little embarrassed and worried. Lily walked to the main seat and sat down. When she heard Yin Lighting's words, she glanced at him. His face is very handsome, and his brows are also full of heroism, but this temperament is different from Yang Xiao in the memory of extinction. Yin Lighting has a bit of melancholy and introversion, while men are not bad and women don't like it. I got it from Zhiziofu, a perfect embodiment. She fell in love with the bohemian Yang Xiao. Lily didn't believe that she was forced to become pregnant. Otherwise, why would she name her daughter without regrets? Yin Liuxia, I called you here this time for this reason. Seeing the unexpected joy on Yin Lighting's face because of her words, Lily paused and felt a little unbearable in her heart, but after thinking about it, she still couldn't bear it. He said cruelly, but the engagement between the traitor and you is over. I, the Ime sect, owe you Wudan a favor. If Wudan wants to do it in the future, if I can do it, I will never shirk it. Yin Lighting's heart was originally happy because of Lily's words, but unexpectedly, it took such a turn. Yin Lighting was stunned, with a look of confusion and hurt on his face. Zhang Sanfan frowned when he saw something bad. I wonder why Master Tai suddenly made such shocking remarks. I wonder if there is any inside story? Li Ting and his disciple have known each other for many years, and... well, since Master Zhang insists on asking, I can't hide it anymore. Zhiziofu has no shame, she has been sleeping with Yang Xiao, the devil of the Ming cult, for many years, and she has no regrets about naming a daughter for him. This incident has caused me to die too. I kept it secret, and I only discovered the truth when we met by chance in Butterfly Valley. Speaking of this, Lily saw the shock and disbelief on Yin Lighting's face, and everyone in Wudan also looked stunned. He sneered and added fuel to the fire. Speaking of this matter, I would like to ask Master Zhang. I thought that Zhang Wuji was originally a disciple of Master Zhang, and he should be devoted to Wudan. I didn't expect that he would defend Yang Xiao's evil breed in every possible way. This time, because of the debt we owe to the Ime sect, for Wudan's sake, I didn't argue with him. This matter is your own private matter, Wudan, and I think you can resolve it yourself. Speaking of which, Lily was actually very puzzled. It is obvious that the 7 heroes of Wudan have always been kind to Zhang Wuji, but he turned to the Ming cult. Just because he had an appointment with a grandfather whom he had met several times before, and because he was very sympathetic to some people in the Ming cult, he defended the Ming cult in every possible way. He saw the pitiful side of Ming Jiao, so why didn't he think about the Ming Jiao's extreme act of burning and killing? His foster father killed innocent people indiscriminately in order to force Chang Kun out. He had his own reasons, but why didn't he think about the feelings of the victims? It's all because Yesun is Zhang Wuji's adoptive father, so all he needs to do in the end is escape into Buddhism and become a monk. Since Yesun also knew that blood debts had to be repaid with blood, why didn't he think that others would also use his blood to repay debts? What's more, Yin Lighting and others have always been kind to Zhang Wuji. It's okay if Lily doesn't understand that Yin Tianzhen's family is at least related by blood, but he is also very protective of Yang Xiao. They all stand beside Yang Xiao, calling each other without regret, but they don't. Thinking about Zhiziofu's shameless relationship with Yang Xiao, and how his sixth uncle was wearing a brightly colored cuckold, how should he feel? After Lily said this, Yin Lighting was stunned. He glanced at Zhang Sanfen, then at Lily, and then a look of pain and humiliation appeared on his face. At this moment, he looked at Ji. Although Xiaofu still has feelings, they are not the pain of lovesickness after learning that Ji Xiaofu is dead. In the plot, because of Ji Xiaofu's death, Yin Lighting believed that she had always been the one being seduced between Ji Xiaofu and Yang Xiao. She was forced to do it, and she also thought that she died at the hands of Yang Xiao, so she was very resentful towards Yang Xiao. At the same time, death was like a light going out. Some of the shortcomings and resentments that she had when she was alive will naturally disappear after death. What's more, Yin Lighting is a kind-hearted person. She no longer holds grudges against Ji Xiaofu, and the rest are naturally her beautiful memories. Because of this, what kind of love Yin Lighting has for Ji Xiaofu is worthy of scrutiny. Otherwise, why would Yang Bui marry Yin Lighting again? No, I don't believe it. How could Fu Mei do such a thing? Yin Lighting shook her head, with a look of despair and unwillingness on her face, and a hint of resentment in her eyes. Zhang Sanfen showed a look of worry on his face, and shouted sternly, Li Ting. Marriage is determined by heaven. If you don't deserve it, there's no point in forcing it. The rest of the people in Wudang stared at Yin Lighting with sad expressions. Seeing this scene, Lily couldn't help but sneered. They all say that Master Zhang has a broad mind, but now that I see him, he is indeed extraordinary. Zhang Wuji is Zhang Wuxia's brother. His son, however, colluded with people from the demon cult. He knew clearly that the traitor was engaged to the 6 heroes of Yin, but he concealed it, and always supported Ji Xiaofu. Have you ever thought about the hard work of those who helped him get rid of the cold? The Ming cult also didn't know how to instill in him. After all, I have seen that the demon cult behaves differently, not to mention burning, killing, and looting. This trick of seducing people is also extraordinary. As soon as Lily said these words, Yin Lighting's face first showed a dull look, and then he shook his hand. He clenched his fists and gritted his teeth without saying a word. Master Tai, there is no need to provoke. Wuji is 5th brother's son, he will never side with the Ming Xiao. Mo Shengu, the youngest, couldn't bear it anymore and yelled at Lily. You know whether he is provoking us or not. If you don't believe it, you might as well ask Yang Xiao. Zhang Wuji personally escorted Ji Xiaofu and her descendants to the Ming cult. When Lily said this, she paused and glanced at Yin Lighting. Oh, by the way, the traitorous traitor is called Bulletin Regret. Now the 6 heroes of the easy to teach Yin know that Ji Xiaofu has been expelled from the sect because I have abolished martial arts, and has nothing to do with our Imei sect anymore. The engagement is over, and today I will exterminate all the Wudang masters. Xia came here just to clarify this matter. After Lily said this, she saw Yin Lighting gritting her teeth and her face turned red. She waved her hand and was ready to see the guest off. Book lovers are welcome to come and read. The latest, fastest and most popular serial works are all original.